Hello, it's Darren from innovationtraining.org. I wanted to share with you today a very interesting application of ChatGPT. You've been seeing all kinds of people talk about how to use it, perhaps how to use it in your coaching business or your work as a coach. But here we're talking about how do you use ChatGPT as the coach. ChatGPT leading you through a coaching session, right? So that's pretty different kind of a concept where it would go back and forth, right? Ask you questions, you provide answers. It takes that and then asks you the next set of questions that relate to what you shared, almost like you would do in a coaching session, or it leads you through an activity. So that is a very interesting application. So I've been testing this and playing around with this. And here's a good prompt, I think, to get you started with this if you'd like to try this out. You just say, hey, I'd like for you to act as if you were my business coach. Could be anything. Could be a business coach, life coach, productivity coach, mindset coach, whatever you'd like to try. Give it that specific role, I guess, to play. You ask questions or lead me through activities and I'll respond. Do you understand? So that's how I might start it, to know that we're not just going to show me what a coaching session might look like, but we're going to actually do the session. You ask me, right? Okay, so ChatGPT understood, hey, as your business coach, I'll ask you questions, I'll suggest activities to help guide you in growing and improving your business. Let's get started. That's what I like. It wants to get started. So here's how it started the session. And this might be how you might start a session with an actual business coach if you were sitting down next to them. Hey, tell me about your business. What's the industry you're in? What's your product or service? What's your target audience? How long have you been in business? What are your biggest accomplishments? What challenges or issues are you currently facing? That's almost the focus that a lot of coaching sessions get at. It's not only understanding you, but hey, what is the really specific thing we should be working on? Right. So I just shared a little bit here about kind of a current issue that I'm facing, as if I'm actually doing a coaching session with ChatGPT. I think it's helpful, right? I liked thinking about those and answering those questions, especially for my current kind of thing that I'm developing, which might be ChatGPT training, workshops, coaching, that kind of a thing. So answered those questions. Okay, now it took what I gave it and it's going to the next level. It's going a little bit deeper, right? Hey, I understand, right? And here are some things that we can address. And then it asked me those questions. So at the very least, it's a very reflective experience for me to try to get a good understanding of, hey, what is my business about, right? What is the focus that I want to have? What's important, through being prompted with these really good questions and ways to break it down, right? So that was something that I found to be pretty helpful, pretty nice. So maybe you try this yourself, right? You just go to that first prompt. Hey, ChatGPT, act as if you were this coach, this kind of coach, and experiment with getting specific with the kind of coaching that you might be looking for. I also did another prompt here where I always try to turn it over to ChatGPT to figure out, hey, how do we best work together, we'll say, right? So I just prompted this, hey, how can ChatGPT be a coach for me? Lead me through a coaching session. Hey, you could play any of these kinds of roles. What are the best prompts? I always like to ask that, or ways to utilize you. And hey, here are some things that we could work on in a coaching session. Goal setting, action planning, accountability, resource sharing, reflection, and problem solving. Hey, these are good. Here's some prompts that we might be able to think about, work on. Okay, so this is something that you could do too, is just ask ChatGPT, how could you be a good coach for me? How could we do a coaching session? So this is a very different application. I haven't seen too many people talking about this yet. Mostly it's been, how can ChatGPT assist me in my business or my work as a professional? Or maybe there's a lot of people out there that are coaches. They want to be coaches. How can ChatGPT help me in that business? Usually it creates social media posts or other things for them. But here we're talking about ChatGPT being the coach. Pretty disruptive. Let's say if I'm a coach myself, it's a disruptive thing if somebody could use ChatGPT. So the goal of the human now is, hey, how can I maybe utilize this in my coaching practice to help my client have a greater experience where we do the really human stuff together, the empathy piece, right, the connecting piece, the insight piece. But ChatGPT helps us maybe with some of the basics. It helps a person think through their business. Maybe I see what they're working on with ChatGPT, and we can go deeper quicker as a result. So I think that's a new frontier for people to think about is, how can this be integrated into your coaching sessions? Or how do you get started and you just want to try ChatGPT being a coach? Hey, maybe that's a quick thing to try, a good activity to help you think about what you're trying to achieve, right? So this has been Darren from innovationtraining.org, just another ChatGPT tip.